Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them.
Woo! What's up? What's up? What's up? Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the page, all of those wonderful things, man. Unbelievable. And it goes to show you how overzealous some people are to get convictions, get court dates, and get people behind bars, that an egregious error can be made in judgment. Not only in Lil Durk's filings about this murder for hire plot that he's being charged for, they based it off of a video of a song that was made 7 months prior to the actual shooting death of someone else. Lil Durk's cousin, Quando Rondo's cousin. So once that happened, that incident took place and happened, this murder for hire plot, they want the whole charge of murder for hire dismissed, when the majority of the case is they're saying that connects Durk is based off a video that was made by a fan on TikTok, which has Quando Rondo's brother's voice. His voice saying no. And actually some clips in the beginning that was fan altered. And they was putting that to the song. And they used that and submitted that as evidence in a trial. This is why, and this is how information becomes dangerous. This is how things are put in such a way where it's not, well, you could say, favorable to the masses. This is a situation that has grown out of control, and everybody who was black who had a YouTube channel has already all but convicted Lil Durk, and he hadn't even went to trial or faced anybody yet. But because of the internet and how it works with mis and disinformation, you've been seeing it all in the Big U case already with people like Whack 100, and these other people self-telling on themselves. This is another case of doing too much on the internet. Now, there were no facts known in the case. As soon as they arrest somebody nowadays, everybody says somebody's gone. And, oh man, they gone, man. He gone up the river. They got him, man. They slid for Vaughn. The internet is something else, but now this is the first time that I can recall somebody made such a clerical error, because I couldn't see another judge coming in and dismissing this portion of the evidence, which would definitely put Lil Durk free. And this is a major misstep. But if you listen to everybody else, this is what they were saying at the time.
all type of gangs in here. They listed, you know, which gangs was snitching. They listed, they got regular informants. People done told on Durk. People done told on OTF. People done told on these other gangs. You know what I'm saying? It's all in the paperwork. So now, I ain't gonna read through everything because the video will take forever. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down the Stephon Mack murder, picture by picture. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go picture by picture, talking about this situation. So the two shooters is supposed to be Anthony Montgomery and Preston Powell, right? Now look. Now I want to go to the. I'm gonna deal with the pictures first, and we're gonna get into all the other stuff later. But we gonna go straight to the first picture because they got a detailed picture by picture. So now, this first picture they put in here right here is crazy because it got a picture of Anthony Powell with Lil Durk. Why the hell would Lil Durk be in a picture with one of the dudes that's supposed to be one of the shooters? I have no idea.
Now, once again, Lil Durk is way back there. This is a guy that's standing way in the front. Little Durk don't mean Lil Durk know every single body in here. I have taken pictures with people. I don't know these damn people. I ain't know what they did for a living. I didn't know who their cousins was or nothing. I didn't know what they did 5 minutes ago before they walked up and took the damn picture. He's a person in the picture. That don't mean he know him. That's crazy. But the internet.
I have no clue. And I bet y'all wondering, well, how did the feds even know about this picture? Or how did they get this picture? Or, well, the snitch told them about the picture, and the snitch was like, there go one of the people, you know what I'm saying, that shot Stephon right there, which is Anthony, him right here. It is easy to tell because Anthony's the skinny one and Preston is the fat one. You know what I'm saying? So now let's we gonna go to the next picture, man. All right, so right here, this picture, Lil Durk, aha video, right? And they blocked this dude out or whatever, right? But they saying he's the leader of the set of the BDs that killed Stephon Mack. You see what I'm saying? Why would Durk put them in the video? I don't know, man. I guess this is what keeping the street go wrong. Then you got people snitches on both sides of the game. Then you got just regular snitches that's not even in the game. It's crazy. But why would Lil Durk do this? This is stupid. It's dumb. If it allegedly Durk paid. Now they ain't said no amounts. They ain't said if dude them got paid, if they did or didn't. But allegedly Durk paid to get the dude Stephon Mack killed. Now it looks even worse when Durk got pictures and videos with the alleged shooters and the leader of the alleged shooters. Right? Crazy. Now, we're going to go to the next picture. We're just dealing with the pictures right now. I want to get these pictures out of the way because I feel like the picture's more incriminating than anything. Words could change, you know what I'm saying? Here and there, you know, stuff could get redacted, all that. But the pictures are worth 1,000 words, you feel me? And we're going to get into CHS1 and all that later. Now, look. This is Anthony and Preston in this Chrysler right here, right? They waiting on Stephon Mack to leave the YPC, the youth center, right? So now in the next picture, now I'm gonna tell y'all how crazy this is. You see how he's standing back here shooting? He could have shot his own. Look, direct line of sight. He could have shot his own man. You know what I'm saying? Like if Stephon Mack would have done it that way and he had to move and shoot that way, he could have possibly hit his own homie, right? You see what I'm saying? You could tell they didn't know what the hell they was doing. You know what I'm saying? They killed them, but this was the most amateur hit I ever seen in my life. They made so many mistakes, right?
Well, here's the thing. When you start putting out all of this information that they had, this proves that other individuals committed the crime. It does not prove Lil Durk had anything to do with that. Just because somebody appears in a music video with you does not mean you're responsible for anything that they do. You got to have evidence that connects everybody to the case. So it's not an open and shut thing. Photos only tell the story they show. I could put a picture up right now and tell you a story of what I think went down or what I think happened. I could show you that could be him. He the only skinny guy in the world. He not the only fat guy in the world. What evidence do you have that that's them? What evidence do you have that connects Durk? That's the only thing that matters here. So now because they have multiple charges in this like RICO thing, but the thing that connects Durk that they have is this murder for hire plot. So this murder for hire plot that they're hanging over the head of Durk, which is altering his career, his business, everything that you have. You got people who allegedly have done crimes that's cooperating, might be making things up to protect their own self. You know, it's a lot of different elements that are being investigated and used that other people might not be privy to or just don't understand. But it's okay because we've seen and heard all of these things before. And no one seemed to care more or less. You know, whatever they said the situation was, you know, that was the case. Now, when you start thinking about the greatest players or MCs and rappers in the game, they all have entourages, right? Whether you're a professional athlete, whether you haven't done anything or whatever, you all have what they call, you know, some type of design reciprocity to your team. You know, it's like you get something from them, they're giving it back to you. You get the sense of security of having your comrades around you, and they get from you a chance for some legitimate, you know, financial security or whatever it might be. And some of them you grew up with them because they were your boys, right? But you in the studio recording songs all night, or you're writing songs. You might be featured in a movie. You might have to go do something over here. You working on a TV show, and you in a whole different world and space. You know, you doing Power Book 2 or all these other things that you want to venture into. and collaborate with other artists or pop singers. And now, because of it, the street side of it, it still got you connected and say, oh, well, he financed it or he did this. And as I told y'all in the very beginning, they were doing all of these arrests when Trump was announcing that he was cutting back on jobs, federal jobs. People had to explain what they were working on, or, they weren't, aligning themselves with certain people. It was just moving in that nature and that way. So decisions were made. People had to. It's like, are you gonna get in and get out, or are you gonna stay in the picture? So other people had to make decisions. But now, they rush to snatch up people and bring them in just so they can have the case going. That era such of this magnitude, which is very damning. Like, I can't believe that actually happened in this case. But according to this brother, Durk and everybody going up the river.
So now you come down to the next picture. As you can see, you know what I'm saying? You see, now he pursuing Mac with the rifle. Big homie is still shooting from the side of the car. You see what I'm saying? This is crazy. Now, he take off, right? And when he take off with the rifle, he end up throwing the rifle in the yard. They end up finding the rifle. Boom, they got one of the murder weapons. The main one, because he actually ran up and shot Stephon Mack, right? I mean, this is crazy, man. So now let's go to the next picture. See, big man shooting over the car. You know what I'm saying? And then, boom, he take off down the street. Now, it's crazy, man. These cameras look so crazy. Like, it's obvious because it's like we got one skinny suspect and we got one big ass suspect. You see what I'm saying? So it's not hard. It's like, all right, if we finna lock up Ren and Stimpy, we got one big one and we got one little one. And the big one ain't never leave for the car when he was shooting till they decided to leave the car. He run up the street, right? Crazy, man. This is crazy. Mr. Montgomery, Anthony. Now, both of the shooters left the car. I don't know who had the car keys. I don't know who was. I'm guessing Anthony was the driver because big man, he clung to that passenger side. He never moved off and moved away from the passenger side. So I'm guessing Anthony was the driver. But remember, he ran off and dumped the rifle, right? Left his girlfriend's phone in the stolen car.
And again, that's activity that has nothing to do with Durk. They have nothing to put Durk there, except for Durk probably knew of them. So this is the situation that these people do. And when you start going down this aisle of breaking these cases down, and I'm just looking at it the way the world would see the case. It's not going to be fair towards anybody black. One, it's only because of the internet, everything is mis and disinformation. It's going to be hard to press to find somebody that don't know anything about the case and look at it fairly. Then you have the notion of who knows what's going on, right? who knows what's really going on? Then you have the only thing that they seem to can tie him into all these other cases is this Quando Rondo situation. And that ain't panning out right.
Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows.
Sorry about that. We had already been through the intro. I don't know why they kicked it off like that again. But here we go. Now, going through these steps, Durk went and hired one of the best lawyers in the world. If there's a reasonable doubt, if there's an error anywhere in this paperwork, this lawyer is going to find it. They call him the $1 billion lawyer for a reason. And this is what he does. And what he found was so much malfeasance. It's like, what? You can't present evidence, and it's kind of like the Diddy case. When they had the altered video, they submitted the altered video as evidence and never turned over the full contents of the video so that it could be reviewed. Now, when we start looking at these cases and we start looking at all of this material and what's being provided, this man knows that when they sent in for the dismissal, and they was like, nope, he already know that this case should be discarded because of this video that they got, this song that they keep trying to use rappers' lyrics. They have proof that this song was made 7 months prior to that incident even happening. And the fact that they have evidence that the government know it's fake. Nowhere they know that this material came from a false source, and it's from TikTok, and it's a fan-made edit. If that's the case, this is automatic grounds for dismissal. But this is why it has to go before a judge. But listen to this.
United States District Court, Central District of California, United States versus Derek Banks. Defendant Dirk Banks, that's not even Derek Banks, I don't know why I said that, through his counsel of record moves the court to dismiss the superseding indictment against him in this matter. And the alternative, he moves to compel disclosure of the grand jury minutes and evidence the government presented to the grand jury. They basically talking about that song that got put there. This motion is based on the attached memorandum of points and authorities, all files and records in this case, and such evidence is argument as may be presented at the hearing. The undersigned and the assigned assistant United States attorneys and his matter had a meet and confer regarding this matter via email correspondence on April 17, 2025, as required by the court's criminal standing order and the local rules reflected herein. The parties did not reach an agreement on the issues presented herein. Basically saying that we want certain things thrown out, and they said we ain't going for none of that. And it came out today, April 18, 2025. So I'm not really going to trip off of actually, maybe I should. Introduction, background, original indictment, superseding indictment, underlying falsehood. Basically, Drew Fillon is like this. And this is why Drew Fillon is the $1 billion lawyer. That month said underlying falsehood. He's basically saying y'all lying. Then the argument. The court has the power to dismiss an indictment that the grand jury returned based on information that the government knew at the time to be or later learned to have been false. false. And I think they're going to be talking about a bunch of lyrics. The false information presented to the grand jury here compels the superseding indictment's dismissal. The false information prejudiced Mr. Banks in the grand jury proceedings. The court should dismiss the indictment because the government presented false evidence to the jury. Bro, this is BTA right here. If the court is uncertain whether the false information that the government presented to the grand jury requires dismissal, the court should order the government to produce transcripts and evidence from the grand jury's proceedings. And then number 4, conclusion. Table of authorities, Bank of Nova Scotia versus United States. We ain't finna do all that. That ain't even necessary. All right. Let me make sure I get my water in because it's about to be a read. Memorandum of Points in Authorities Introduction. The government presented false evidence to the grand jury that indicated Mr. Banks on November 7, 2024, document number 7. The plain language of the superseding indictment makes it apparent that the government told the grand jury that Mr. Banks, through specific lyrics in his music, celebrated and profited from a revenge murder that he had ordered, namely that SR, that's basically Lil Pop, in August 2022. That claim is demonstrably false. The song the government relied upon as evidence against Mr. Banks, Wonderful Wayne, and Jackie Boy. A song was recorded by another artist, Babyface Ray, and on which Mr. Banks recorded a feature for, could not have been a commercialization of Mr. Banks' alleged murder for hire of SR, and the government represented to the grand jury. That is because Mr. Banks recorded the lyrics for Wonderful Wayne 7 months the incident never even happened. The government's misrepresentation in a superseding indictment, whether knowing or reckless, undermines the integrity of the grand jury's true bill against Mr. Banks. The court should dismiss the superseding indictment against him as a result. So they said because they basically gave him the wrong song, which was recorded 7 months before the incident, that they need to go ahead and drop it off. Drew letting his nuts hang. Background. Mr. Banks is a highly successful and internationally renowned recorded artist and performer who is known professionally by the name Lil Durk. His music and resulting public acclaim have been reaching wide audiences since the release of his debut album in 2015. That's cap, but all right. Although he has built his professional reputation and profile as a dedicated, hardworking, deeply talented artist beginning around 2012 through mixtapes and public performances in and around Chicago since the initial album. Mr. Banks has released a total of 8 solo studio albums, not including his mixtapes or collaborative projects he has done with other artists. Mr. Banks has been nominated for a Grammy on 4 occasions, winning 1 last year. In keeping common industry practice, Mr. Banks has been signed to music labels, currently Alamo Records, who have helped him facilitate his musical growth and has spearheaded the efforts surrounding the production, release, and distribution of his music. Also, in keeping with common industry practice, hip-hop artists not only release their own music, but also frequently lend their musical talents to other artists' songs through features, which are often verse or 2 contained within a song. The addition of a feature from a more popular artist can help boost the visibility and ultimately success of a song, especially for newer or emerging talent. Relevant to the matter at hand, Mr. Banks has recorded a feature for Babyface Ray on Wonderful Wayne. Upon Babyface Ray's request, the song in question was ultimately attributed to Babyface Ray with a feature credit to Mr. Banks. Mr. Banks recorded his portion of the song in January of 2022, that being his last involvement in this song. Further production was done by producers and other industry professionals, but no changes to content or lyrics were ever made by Mr. Banks or anyone else associated with Mr. Banks. All of this information was readily available to the government outside of the 4 corners of the superseding indictment, but important to this court's consideration of the egregiousness of the government's conduct and necessity of the relief contained in this motion, the issue of timing of these lyrics was addressed by undersigned defense counsel at Mr. Banks' detention hearing on December 12, 2024. The counter of this argument, counsel for the government posted to the court that even if the lyrics themselves were written several months prior to the charged conduct, a version of this song was modified that added audio from a news clip of TB. TB is Tyquane Bowman, aka Quando Rondo. On top of the original song, following this assertion at the detention hearing and unaware of any such modification attributable to Mr. Banks, undersigned counsel asked the government to provide what they were referring to in this email correspondence. The government replied with videos that appear to be taken from recent open source YouTube searches that were in no way connected to Mr. Banks. This further complicates what evidence, argument, and instructions the government presented to the grand jury and will be addressed in more specificity below. The issue of timing of Mr. Banks' recording of the lyrical verse in question is not one of frivolous or inconsequential value. It is quite the opposite. The government's misrepresentations about the creation and meaning of Wonderful Wayne and the linchpin of the superseding indictment theory of Mr. Banks' guilt. Indeed, the superseding indictment features it prominently. Following the attempted murder of TB and the murder of SR, defendant Banks sought to commercialize SR's death by rapping about his revenge on TB with music that explicitly references audio from a news clip taken shortly after SR's murder, where TB screamed, "No! No!" after seeing SR's dead body. Superseding indictment, page number 6, document 27, at 3, 9, and 11. It is, in fact, the only material allegation that does not appear in the original indictment. What? Which does not charge Mr. Banks, but appears in the superseding indictment, which does charge him. Whoa. Whoa. That's crazy. The original indictment, Mr. Banks was not charged in the original indictment. Instead, the indictment charged 5 other individuals: Kevon Grant, DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston. Bro, I didn't even know about the other person. What the hell?
Now, so the original indictment did not include Lil Durk. But because of this video, they were able to include Lil Durk. So now, if that's the case, and they're using this video as the determining factor, this is a problem. And because it's a problem, others may not see or understand it's a grown problem that many just can't see or probably just don't want to see. Now, everything about them is contingent on everything about them is contingent of one thing. And the thing that is contingent that all of them are stuck to and stuck with is the fact that well, there's a contention in play that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, Dirk should be free. Without a fraction of a doubt, Dirk should be just by the dismissal of that evidence would get him removed from the case completely. His indictment should be overturned because they have nothing else in contention. And this is good work by the law firm, but very sloppy work by the state. And Derek could probably be home, or this thing should be dismissed. A judge will have to rule on it, of course, but I've never seen a case in where altered evidence has been submitted and it was allowed to stay in the case. Now you can still say, okay, that'll be eliminated, but what else do you have that would tie Dirk to the situation at hand? You know, so anyway, that's all. I want to say thank y'all for supporting the page, man. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're new here. And definitely don't forget to go to my Patreon, which is Carcino for Life. We'll have more information to deliver. I'm out.